be doing a full 1 year plus review of my BMW 320D E91 M Sport. So it is the touring model. It's a 2009, so I'm just going to be going over the entire car, telling you how I've got on with it over the past about year and a half, and go through everything on the car and ultimately whether you should buy it or not. So let's get straight into it. So yeah, this is the M Sport model, so it's the E91, it's 2009. So these are not very common as well in the white, so that's why I went for this in the end. So yeah, I've owned this car about a year and a half now. I've really enjoyed driving it. So yeah, we'll look at the inside later on. I'll just tell you all the features of what the M Sport model gives you as well. But yeah, so this is the N47 engine. So you might know, if you've looked into it a bit, this is the actual engine that has more problems with the timing chain. There's a lot of faults with the timing chain from factory on these. This has been done on this one, so it's been replaced a long time ago. Since it's been done, I've had no faults whatsoever. The N57 also has had that sorted, so that is not an issue on that engine. So if you're looking for a car that has not had the chain done, probably look at the N57, but if it has been done, you can look at one like this. So yeah, it does get quite mucky very quickly in the white. So yeah, let's just have a look at the front end to begin with. I've got the aftermarket halo lights on this. I've also added the M Sport style grille on this. This was very cheap. You can pick these up fairly cheap. It's also got the front lip as well, which you can fit on quite easily. So yeah, that is that part of it. We've also got roof rails on there, so if you want anything on the roof, obviously it's very convenient to have. And it's also got the M Sport style mirrors as well, just caps that you just take on, put them on. I should have a video out soon on how to install them, very easy to do. It's also got the M Sport size wheels. I believe these are just slightly larger than the standard wheels off the non-M Sport model. It's just got a little cap there for the M Sport badges, but they've come off, so just needs them adding on. Yeah, let's have a look around the rear of the car. The back of the car, it's also got the rear glass that pops open with the button underneath. You've got that you can use. So for the age of this car as well, it does look quite nice, I'd say, compared to the newer models as well. It's definitely good for the age of the car. So yeah, let's have a quick look at the inside. We have the interior, so it's also very nice in here. This version does have the Alcantara seats, the M Sport model, which are adjustable here. Also on these, which I did not know about when buying the car, they do have bolster controls as well, electronic ones that you can press there to do that as well. It does have the M Sport style wheel with the badge on the bottom. That's different on that. Also the gear knob is M Sport as well on there. This model does have cruise control. Some do have heated seats as well, but not all of them do, so just check that if you are looking at buying one. This does have about 135,000 miles now. Done a lot of motorway miles on this car, probably about at least 400 miles a week I've been driving this car. So yeah, it's done a lot of mileage. For that mileage, I've not had, well, barely any issues with it. I had an issue with the boot that wouldn't open. There's a full video on my page that I did where I fixed that, so that's all resolved. Did have a little issue with the rear light bulb that hadn't gone out, but it kept popping up and then it just go off after so long. So yeah, other than that, really, there's nothing wrong with it. There's a stop-start issue on there, but that's a separate thing to the battery, I believe. So, but it is quite easy to fix, apparently. So it does also have, obviously, the stop-start function as well. The back, we'll just have a look there. It's quite spacious in the rear seats as well. So yeah, these seats are quite nice, to be honest. The Alcantara, they do look really nice. Quite comfy as well. It's a little bit lower. You feel quite low driving this car. Also, the suspension, I believe, is different on the M Sport. I think it's lower and stiffer than the non-M Sport models, so that is another thing as well, but it is quite comfortable to drive. Moving this car as well is not that bad, to be honest. You don't really notice the size of it. It's got quite a good turning circle on it, I'd say anyway. So yeah, it's been relatively easy to park and that sort of thing. I've not really noticed any inconvenience with it in car parks or anything like that. Also forgot to mention, it does have the rear parking sensors as well on this one, which has come in handy. Definitely get a lot of use out of them, more than I thought I would, so that is another thing. Just have a look under the bonnet of the car. I've just started it as well, so you see it's quite a large engine bay as well. Obviously gas struts on there as well, but yeah, it does sound like a tractor. There's a lot of noise with this engine.
Quite like this one, look, the Super Major. There are worse names.
So yeah, there's a lot of noise. It is quite a loud engine, so don't expect it to be quiet, obviously, for a diesel as well. It does make quite a lot of noise. I've probably serviced this once since I've had it. It needs to be serviced more regularly than the intervals say, just to be safe with the chain. So it is recommended to do it as soon as often, probably about 8,000–10,000 miles. So I just need another service soon. But yeah, it's fairly easy to do. I think it probably cost me about 78 quid to do a full service on this car. It's quite straightforward. I should have a video out on that as well. But yeah, so in terms of that, it's been fine. I've had literally no issues with this car in terms of, you know, how it's been performing. I think there's about 180 brake horsepower, obviously a lot of torque as well. So it does pull for how big the car is as well. It's quite a powerful car. I got it and I thought it's going to be quite sluggish because obviously the weight of it and the size, but yeah, it does pull quite nice as well. I've not really noticed any issues with that. Yeah, another great thing about this car is the fuel economy as well. So I do drive this a lot on the motorway, which is going to help, but I do get about 55–60 miles per gallon. It does have a 60 litre tank as well, so you're not going to be needing to fill this up very often. It should last you quite a bit, especially if you're doing not as much mileage as me. So it should last you a good week and a half, if you're not doing anything too extreme. But yeah, it's something to keep in mind. You are going to get really good miles per gallon on this car, and for the power that you're still getting there when you need it, it is quite helpful to have. So yeah, that's a good thing to know, especially for the size of the car as well. The boot, I'm not too sure exactly what size boot this is, but it is quite a big boot. You've got two bits here just to store stuff. You've got the cover which does come out. You can pull it out on either side. You just pull that out and it clips in, so that's brilliant. This model as well, which I didn't realise, has this, so I'll just show you now. Press that comes out. Yeah, so that was an optional extra, didn't know it had that. And then you can just simply press that again and then it just drops and you just push it back in like that. Quite easy to do. So check if it has that. It was an optional extra, so it might not have it if you're looking at buying one, but it's a good thing to note. You're just seeing here, it's just in here, so if you just check, see if it's got that button, it should have one if you're looking at buying one. The boot is great. I've had bumpers in here, I've had seats in here, all sorts of stuff. So you've got some bits at the end as well, some bits to attach stuff to as well, clamps on either side if you need to do that. You've got that bit there, so you've got, yeah, it's really good for storing stuff in here. You've got a lot of options, and there is a cigarette lighter in there as well, so if you're doing any camping or anything like that, it's quite handy to have. So yeah, now you've had a look around the car, you can kind of see what it's all about. So there's a lot of options with these as well. There's a lot of different colours you can get in them, and just depends what you want really, what's available. But in terms of this one, the mileage, as I say, I've not really had any issues with it since I've had it. I've probably put a good 20,000 miles on it since I've owned it, which is quite a bit obviously for the amount of driving I do. But yeah, it's been great. There's been no faults with it. As I say, just look out for the engine, which sort of engine it is. You'll see if the chain's been done, it should be okay. If not, that might be something that you're gonna have to worry about. I didn't have receipts for this when the chain was done, but he was adamant that it had been changed at some point. So, but since I've had it, I've not had any faults, no sort of idling faults or anything like that. I've not noticed anything wrong with it. So yeah, it is also, in terms of the insurance, it's all right for me at the moment. I've got about 3–4 years no claims. It's about 800 quid. It's insurance group 28, so it's quite high up there. But the thing with these cars is you do have to check and do some quotes on different models, because one might be very similar. I did a quote on another 320D. I don't know if it was an M Sport, so that might be why, but it was drastically different. So yeah, just check that out as well. A little bit of a further look inside the car as well. The M Sport wheel does have these options. You've got volume control, calls, and a few other bits down here as well. And then moving down here, you've got the lights, you've got fog lights front and rear, you've got the adjustments on the left for the beam positioning, and you've got option for the window lock. You can lock that on and off. The mirrors adjust here, electronic for the viewing angle. They do have automatic heating as well, so there's no option on here. I was wondering, how do you turn them on? They just work automatically. And here we'll just have a look at the climate control. So up top you've got the lock-in for all the doors, and then you've got the main fascia here. You've got dual climate controls on both sides. You can set that to just go on one side, or you can set it to all and it'll just work like that. You've got auto on there as well. You've got aircon, you've got the front and rear, the front fan, and then the rear heated window. You've got a button for the stop start. Obviously, like I say, that doesn't work in mine, so that's not working at the moment, but you've got the option to turn that on or off. You've got this little compartment down here, which is handy to have. The cover flips back over. You've got a little bit here, which is nice to have, and then in here you've got the storage space with the cigarette lighter and aux as well. A lot of crap in there obviously at the minute. Now a great thing about this car as well is the cup holders. There's quite a few cup holders in this car. There's one there, one on the passenger side, so you've got them that come out, they just push in like that, and then you've got a couple in the armrest in the centre that comes down as well, so that comes down. So yeah, that's quite handy to have. The cigarette lighters, there are 4 in this car, so there's one there, well in the front there's 4, one in there, and then there's 2 at the back, you can see in there. Yeah, so there's quite a few, so that is quite handy to have. So I've just got the dash cam plugged into that in the rear. So yeah, I'd say this is a great car to have. I would definitely recommend it if you are looking for a car that's going to look smart, be fairly quick when you need it, and is also quite practical, then this is going to be the perfect car for you. Also, if you are a bit economically minded as well, you do have great mile per gallon in this car for the size, so I don't think you're really going to get much better in terms of price compared with that. When you're looking at similar models, I just don't think you're going to find a good all-round car in this sort of price ranges. A little bit older obviously, but you can obviously get good, you know, good prices on these cars. So if you are looking at something like that, I would definitely recommend this car. Obviously just look into them and just check that you've got all the service history, that sort of thing. If you are looking at buying one, that's quite important to have. Obviously just check the chain's been done for that sort of reasoning as well, if it is the N47. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed today's video. Hopefully it was useful for you if you are looking at this car. If you've got any questions at all on this car that I've not covered in this video, please drop a comment below. I'll reply back to you as soon as I can. Hopefully that'll be helpful to you. I've also got some other videos on the channel about this car, as well as a few more that I've already made that will be scheduled to be uploaded later on. So do subscribe for that if you are interested. I'll be covering a few more bits on the car that is not in this video. 5 reasons I like, 5 reasons I dislike, that sort of thing. So yeah, check that out as well. But yeah, hopefully if you do get this, well, the same model of car, you'll love it. I definitely have. But yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed today's video. Drop a like and subscribe. It'd really mean a lot to me if you can subscribe to the channel as well. But yeah, have a nice rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.